Unscripted, unshackled, uncouth.
What you're about to hear is for more mature audiences only.
It's Miguel and Holly, Uncensored.
Welcome to our last podcast for a week because we will be on vacation starting today.
Hey!
Yes, after this is over with. So there will be no podcast next week, but there's always a great opportunity to check out the other podcasts that we do. So if you only listen to Miguel and Holly Uncensored, you can go check out Miguel and Holly Full Show podcast, Queen City Confessions. I know there's a guy, Juan, here in Charlotte, who he does something where he travels on the road a lot, and he told me that he actually binged all of the blown offs we've done. And I was like, oh my God.
Miguel, are we live right now?
We're not supposed to be.
Well, I think we are.
Hold on. Let's go take a little. Wait.
No, it's fine. It's already. We bought the arrow has been loosed.
Wait, if that's the
We
case.
can't pull it back. It's already out. The cat's out of the bag.
Wait a minute. It literally said.
You did it. No. You
Wait. Hold on.
on.
Because sometimes it shows up. Yep.
We're
Sure.
That's fine. Well, it's fine. We'll do it. We'll do it now anyway. We'll just do it now. When it said live, I was like, I don't think that's right. But I don't know.
And you know what's funny is like literally, hey y'all. So
Awkward.
a little behind the scenes. We were pre-recording tomorrow's podcast where it was going to stream live for you right at 10:30. And then we also were going to upload it audio-wise for Friday. And literally when I hit go, it said this broadcast will go live on the 7th at 10:30.
Well,
Today's the 6th, right? Yes, today's the 6th. So I clicked everything I was supposed to. Well, here you go. Well,
wait, bonus podcast.
Cat's out of the bag.
We did two.
Right.
Or we're doing two.
Well, we're not doing
fine.
one tomorrow on Friday.
We're not doing sorry.
That
it
was
going to be tomorrow.
Right.
This, what you're watching right now, listening to right now, is supposed to be tomorrow's podcast. We're going to record it, play it tomorrow. Oh, well.
I'm sending an email. Usually,
write a strongly worded email.
I will, because I'll take onus on if I am the one who messed up. But it literally, anyway. So there you go. We're live.
It's fine.
Or you can always wait until, you know what? I won't release the audio of this until Friday. Only the video. So you watching get it a day early.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Ooh.
The audio will go tomorrow. So boom, only you watching get the special bonus one for the next 24 hours.
Either way, if you're just listening, this first 3 minutes is going to sound absolutely chaotic.
Actually, I'm probably going to just take all this out and then we'll just hit it right to where we go. Hey, vacation.
That's fine.
All right. So you watching, you're going to, this is us editing live on the fly.
You getting a sneak peek. Well, I mean, you getting the whole thing.
Right.
Yeah, we're going to have to cut this all out.
Yeah. So you will only be able to see this on the video, but it won't even be referenced in the actual audio tomorrow.
And that's fine.
We're going to just pick up. So hold on.
Well, I always feel like the people that listen to the podcast, the people that watch the podcast, we are talking about two separate sets of people.
100%.
It's a very different experience. So, all right.
All right. So we're going to make a clean break here. Hold on. I will have to edit. So we will be on vacation. And so if you want to catch up with any of the other podcasts we have, Queen City Confessions, Miguel and Holly Full Show podcast. I know a guy who has listened to all of the blown offs that we've done, Juan, here in Charlotte,
Juan.
because he travels a lot.
Yeah.
So just feel free, or you can even go back and listen to the old Miguel and Holly Uncensored podcast. That's always a fun treat.
Yeah.
We are going to get to this confession that I talked about earlier today on the show that is too hot for air.
Too steamy.
Yeah, we've had so much going on. I haven't had a chance to get to it this week, but it came in over the 4th of July weekend.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to get to that here in just a second. But some of the reviews, a little shout out, because we're on our quest to get to 500 reviews, and then we'll give away $50. We're at 470 reviews, so we're getting close. This is from Trey, longtime listener. Love the show and podcast. I was introduced to your show in 2015 growing up in Tampa. I was only in 7th grade at the time. I've been listening to the show and podcasts ever since and feel like the show has taught me so many things. From Holly's wisdom to Miguel's amazing attitude and look out on life, I truly feel like I've learned so much from you two and any other amazing producers you've had in the past. The podcast is amazing and y'all deserve the world. Know you all make a positive impact on so many people's lives. Keep up the amazing work. Thank you so much, Trey.
Wow. Can I do that math? What grade? He was in 7th grade?
In 2015.
So that's about 13, right? 7th grade is about 13.
Mm-hmm.
So 13.
Do the math.
Wait, I can't. Okay,
Holly's got to get a pen.
Let me get a pen. As a 20,
Let's see if you were in 20,
23. So it's 13. He's 23? You spent your formative years getting knowledge from us, which I kind of love, by the way. I'm not going to lie. Like, if you're going to get some knowledge from anybody, it should be us. We're often right about things.
I'm like, oh my gosh, when I was going through like the crazy phase, and I'm like, yeah, girl, I'm over here just bloop, 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 bloop.
Oh, well, there was that.
Yeah. But you know what? Everyone is human. And if that is the ultimate thing that we can impart on you, is that everyone has flaws and everyone is humans, and that not one freaking person on this planet is perfect.
Oh, so right.
So, you know what?
Also,
Right,
we
Holly.
weren't your parent at that age, and they could have put a stop to that. So
I'm glad they didn't.
Taking
So
responsibility.
welcome. Here's another one from VS1421, longtime listener, first time reviewer. Started listening to Miguel and Holly during their first tour of Tampa and loved them. Was very excited when they came back and started a podcast. Oh, wow. So play 98.7 days.
Play 98.7 OG fam.
Yeah. Sad they've left us again, but thankful this podcast still goes strong. I'd like to add in that we did not leave by choice the first time when we left in 2011.
That was being forced out.
You never really know what they're going to talk about each episode, but it's always an interesting topic and usually ties into an interesting story. It can be as casual as crazy weekend shenanigans or as serious as processing the death of a parent. Whatever the topic, they always give me something new to think about. Irrelevant, but I feel the need to share. This was the first podcast I listened to regularly and the first I ever subscribed to, and I guess now the first I've reviewed. Well, thank you.
I'm excited about that. It's a first for everyone.
And, you know, I appreciate that because I feel like we started this podcast back in 2015 when we were new to Tampa and we were only allowed to talk for 2 minutes at a time for like 3 times an hour.
Yeah, it was a total of 6 minutes an hour.
Yeah. So I literally remember on the podcast that here are the best moments from when it was the Miguel show in 2015. And it was literally called 6 minutes of the Miguel show. And that was it.
That's all you needed. Because that's all there was. 6 minutes. Good Lord.
I remember like sitting in the studio when we had Nikki on. And she'd be like, because she did everything because she was the producer for the previous show.
And some producers do all the things.
Right. And so we were kind of like, well, this isn't our show really because we're new here and I don't really know what I'm doing.
Oh, no.
And so I would just sit there on my phone and just be on Instagram and just be like, well,
I know
we're in a big market, but we're in a sea of music, girl. And so that's why we started the podcast. So we had an avenue to be able to tell stories and to be able to get to know you and not lose that muscle of being able to have long form conversations.
Which I love so much better than trying to shove everything in, but it is how it is.
Right. Everyone's got some stuff from their work that they've got to deal with. So thank you all so much. So please leave a review if you can anywhere or on Apple Podcasts. All right, let's get to this confession that was too hot for air.
I'm nervous. Steamy. Could be kids listening. Please don't listen if you're a child.
Well, we say for mature ears only, girl.
I know. I said. I was like,
But you know what? Like we've said many times before on this podcast, when I was 13, 14, the sites I was looking at and the conversations I was having in AOL chat rooms with my different screen name.
That makes me so nervous.
Yeah.
I'm going to be.
But I think the biggest thing is as long as you your children are going to find a way to get to those things, but you just have to explain to them how to protect themselves. And so even though I was online at that time on the internet, when we were like, give out one piece of information, they will kill you, I gave out no information about myself back then.
Yeah.
All right, here's this confession. I have such an overactive sex drive that I have to have personal time everywhere I go. Work, the grocery store, the club, just about every place I've been more than once, I've had personal time. This is when I knew that there was a problem. When a family member passed and we were at the funeral home, during the service, I left for the bathroom and had personal time. I think I have a problem. Holly?
Yes, you do. You do. But I want to be delicate about this because obviously, like, it's really easy to turn this into like a funny thing.
Right.
And or any number of things. And it's interesting because I recently came upon some information about almost this. It's in the same vein as this confession. Okay. It's about, I would say probably men and women, but I want to say probably more men this might be applicable to, but I think probably men and women. Anyway, I learned some stuff recently. So, yes, you have a problem. Because in the first part of the confession, you said, I have a high sex drive. I have to have personal time.
I have such an overactive sex drive that I have to have personal time wherever I go.
You have to, or you choose to?
Because no one's forcing you to. And just by the way, too, when I was possibly going to read this one on the air on Wednesday back from the break, and I was like, ooh, this isn't a way to talk around this at 7:25 in the morning.
Sure not.
So except for the podcast. So I don't know if this is a male or a female.
Yeah, it could be anybody.
Right. So that's why I'm gonna say, like, no one is forcing your hand to go downstairs.
Right. So, like, you don't have to. And if and I'm seeing a comment from Amber Stone on the YouTube that says it reminds me of that episode of Grey's Anatomy where the woman was having multiple random orgasms throughout the day. The doctors were trying to joke about it at first, but it was super detrimental. Yes. And so if there is like an actual physical thing where, but I just feel like you'd be spontaneously having an orgasm, right? So if there's a physical thing, you need to get checked out, and that's between you and your doctor. However, psychologically, you do have a problem because you're saying you have to, and you don't have to. You are making a choice. You're saying, I'm at the mercy of my body. Gotta just do whatever my body wants. That's not how it works. Your mind is in control of your body. And what happens, this is so interesting that I just learned about this and now it's coming up. The universe, right? So when you have maybe a thought, like a sexual thought or whatever, that's not quite appropriate, it's your job to realize that and shut it down. The worst thing you can do is if you have a thought that's maybe a little bit inappropriate or maybe like a little bit, I'll just keep with the word inappropriate.
Right.
And I would say like going to have personal time in the Harris Teeter bathroom is inappropriate.
Right.
Okay. And there are a number of things that could be inappropriate. The worst thing that you can do is then have personal time to that thought. Let's say you're fantasizing about your best friend's spouse. That's a bad thought. You know that you shouldn't be fantasizing about your best friend's spouse.
Right.
You can stop that thought and you push it aside and do whatever you have to do. Go do an activity, go do something else, change the channel in your brain. Because as soon as you have personal time to that thought, new neural pathways are created in your brain. Now your brain is like, and this is why I say especially for guys, I don't know if it's quite the same for women. I think it is probably similar, but I know for guys, when that climax happens, your body and now your mind is in tune with the same neural pathway that like, oh, that felt really good. So that must mean I'm going to do more of that thought. Like you're linking the two and creating a pathway where a pathway didn't exist before. So what has happened, bringing it back to this confession. So what has happened is like this person's predilection for, a lot of personal time, it became a thrill-seeking behavior. That's why you have to be careful with porn, and you have to be careful with what you allow into your mind, because eventually there's going to be a threshold where it's not doing it for you anymore. And you're going to need more or different or more extreme. That's what's happened with this going in public thing. So, yeah, maybe you do have a high sex drive, but that's not an excuse. You can't use that as an excuse to just go have personal time all over the planet. So, like, you got a thrill from going in the grocery store bathroom. You've created a new neural pathway that, like, anytime I'm somewhere new, it's not like, oh, I just have to do it. No, you created the neural pathway where you're like, I'm somewhere new. My body wants to do this, and you keep doing it. So, literally, any new building you enter, your body's like, I want to do it because we've done it all this time. And it's what happens when you visit someone's school?
Right.
Your mind isn't just going to automatically be like, oh, that's bad. We don't do that here. No, because you've primed your brain to be like, any literal new building that I enter, I gotta jack off. And you're going to be like, it's even riskier
Ooh.
if I'm in XYZ place. Your grandmother's funeral?
Right.
That's absolutely disrespectful and inappropriate. And you know this. That's when you knew you had a problem. But like your brain is going to want more and more because you've linked the neural pathways. That's what I learned. Okay.
Yeah, I'm so glad you said that, because I have recently discovered, because like I've never been one of those like, ooh, let's do it in public. Like, ooh, it's scandalous. Because I literally, nothing in my personality wants to be in trouble, wants to be caught, wants to feel in danger. Like that does not turn me on. That is not something that Miguel Fuller inside goes, ooh, yeah, I'm ready for it. I'm like, no, that turns me off. Like there's nothing about that excites me. So when I run across videos, and especially now that, we're in the age of, OnlyFans and on Twitter, where it's just a bunch of amateur stuff. It's not the pre-produced stuff.
Yeah,
and so in the pre-produced stuff, from the studios, and I'm going sort of deep into the adult film industry, but like they would set up situations where it's like it's a plane and ooh, you're doing it around people around you. Obviously, these were other adult film actors, and it was just made to simulate that.
Right.
I was never into that. But now you have people that do these things in public, and they're doing it for one, because that gets them off, and then two, for the clout and to get more followers, for people to retweet, be like, oh my gosh, can you believe that they would do this in the dressing room at H&M?
Well, that's a bit of dopamine too, right? Getting likes on social media.
100%. And so all of that goes together to where you're like, yes. And I've never understood that. I remember there was one that like I literally like stopped as I'm scrolling on Twitter, I'm having my little adult, personal time session and scrolling through videos. And then there was somebody who was like at a Walmart or Home Depot or something. And I was like, that is not cute. That is not funny. And that is disgusting.
And you said, I'm sorry, where was it?
They were at some department store, like in the aisle. And my whole mind was like, what if a family comes around the corner? Like, is that like I don't get about it. Like, if you're at a nude beach or if you're on a boat out in the ocean,
right?
Okay, you're out in the air, okay, fine. But like that, I just can't wrap my brain around.
Well, I think that could be a combination of a couple things, like what I just talked about, and also society's like deep spiral into we don't give an F about anybody but ourselves.
Mm,
I think that's been a growing trend over the last decade or so.
right.
Or more. I don't really know, but it just feels like people have no sort of societal, and I see it a lot online with these people that don't want to see or hear children in public at all.
Mm,
And so that kind of goes along with that because, what if a family had been walking by?
right.
Like, there's a growing number of people that I see on Twitter, and Twitter's a dumpster fire, so it could just be whatever. But like, there's a growing number of people that are just like, oh, you see it, where the viral video where the guy was screaming and having a temper tantrum because a toddler was screaming and
Oh,
having a
no, I
temper
didn't
tantrum
see
in a
that.
plane. Yeah, it was this viral video a couple of months ago where a toddler was just melting down on this plane. And, typical adults can understand that children don't have the capability of self-soothing or making something right or even communicating that their ears might hurt or whatever the case may be. And they have like only a couple of tools and one of them is screaming. So, but as an adult, we're supposed to have gotten more tools by the time we're an adult. Well, this man, and it was on video, this man absolutely lost his shit. This kid couldn't stop crying. And he started screaming and was like, see what it's like? And was just screaming and screaming and screaming. And everyone, like, it went viral. And half the people were like, F this man, for reasons I just stated. And half the other people were like, I wish kids couldn't go on planes. I wish kids didn't have to be at restaurants. I wish kids could just not, I don't want to have to see a kid. Like half the comments were like, yeah, maybe he didn't do it right, but yeah, fuck kids.
Ooh.
There is such it's just like I'm doing my thing out in public and I do not care what else is going on because if it doesn't matter to me, it doesn't matter to anybody.
Mm.
So I think it's kind of it could be in either one of those.
Right, because I mean, I can like sort of see where the people would be coming from. Like if I'm on, so for instance, like when Abe and I, saved up and went to Steak 48 here in Charlotte for our anniversary, and we paid a lot of money, and it was our anniversary dinner. But like, let's say you have a very well-to-do family that is on a casual night out for $1,000
Casual Steak 48.
Oh yeah,
Sure.
we just bring our 5-year-old to Steak
Right.
48 for dinner. But the 5-year-old had a temper tantrum. I would be a little pissed off because we spent a lot of money on that meal that we had saved up for and that we won't probably go back for another year. And my moment is ruined because of you chose to bring your kid to this place. So that's why I say with an asterisk.
Right,
Like
because it falls on the parent too, and so a lot of parents are the exact same way where it's like, well, I'm out here raising my kids and I don't give an F about anybody else. It goes both ways.
Right.
So like a parent has to realize that maybe a 4-star steak place isn't the best place to bring your toddler. Like, and I would fault the parent on that for being like, this is not the environment for them. But like, if you know you have a well-behaved 5, 6, 7-year-old and they're just gonna be fine, bring them and then they can learn how to be at a restaurant because how else are kids supposed to learn how to be at a restaurant?
Right.
So, if they're not like, your kid best. And also, if for some reason, like, I was forced to bring a toddler to Steak 48, like, this is all very hypothetical, and my toddler started melting down, immediately, I am pulling that kid out of there and going to the parking lot.
Right.
Because I'm upholding that end of the bargain.
Right.
And it's like society is just breaking in America where it's like we don't have patience for anybody else's shit.
Right,
Like,
because I feel like if we had a little bit more understanding, like on a plane, would I be annoyed? Absolutely. Would I make an Instagram video of me looking annoyed with the child crying in the background? Absolutely. But I would never say you shouldn't bring your kids on the plane because maybe that family is going to see, one of their parents who passed away and they're going to a funeral, or
yes.
Maybe they're moving across the country and they don't have a car. I mean, who knows the circumstances? So I feel like if both people, the parent and the other people, understand the situation, like if I'm going to Costco on a Saturday I can't be mad that, every senior citizen in Mecklenburg County is going to be there to get their hot dog, because that's where I put myself. So I'm going to go at another time.
Right.
Or to Chili's where, they've got kids meals, and good prices. If you have a large family, that's a good place to go.
They have great prices at Chili's, by the way. Like, holy Jesus.
Right. So of course that's where you're going to take your kids. And so I
Right.
can't get mad if I'm there to be like, oh, how dare you do that? Like, that's just, you have to understand the circumstances for each of those places. And when you go to the airport, you just have to put your patient's panties on or your patient's cap on and be like, you know what? People are going to be loud. People are going to be doing this or that, but you just got to deal with it.
I think more so than patience, but the patience is not going to last you that long if it's patience alone. I think empathy. I think just empathy for other human beings and giving them the benefit of the doubt about, like you said, maybe that family, but maybe that family isn't just going to a funeral. Maybe the family has decided that, they are going on a vacation. They're still allowed to bring their kid on the plane. And being on a plane does not give you immunity from having to see a child.
Right.
Like, you have to bring some empathy. Like, you yourself were a child once and someone had to put up with your shit. That's how society works. Like, you were not like a child that never screamed or whatever. Like,
I
at
was. That was
some
a good
point,
kid.
your mom had to slap you.
That was a good kid. I mean, I did talk a lot. That's right. I didn't cry a lot, but I did talk a lot. It's true.
Right. And it could be anything. It could be super chatty. It could be making a mess, whatever. And I fault the parent if the parent is not actively participating in the parenting process, because that's on you, parent. Like, you got to take some responsibility. You are bringing your kid out here. So you're doing your best, but you're doing your best. You also don't need everybody else huffy because, your kid couldn't be quiet or whatever. So it's empathy for other people. And I think that would help the patience go longer.
So here's a question, Holly, as a parent, from a non-parent to a parent. So I remember a few years ago when we went on one of our first cruises and they only had like 2 hot tubs in the main area. This Carnival cruise out of Tampa back in like 2016. And there was some kids probably around like 7 or 8. I'm not good. No, I'm not a good judge of how old kids are. I have no clue.
Kid could have been 16. No,
Literally, I'm like, I don't know. It's a child. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, my friend and I were sitting in the hot tub there, and these kids jump in, and I automatically was like, girl, no, I don't want to be here. And like, I was like, well, I'll wait a few minutes. Just maybe they're like good kids and they're not going to be crazy. Nope. They brought in some cups and they were just like pouring water on each other and dunking each other and like the water splashing all over my face. And I was just like, so I was like, I wanted to say something, but I'm like, well, this Carnival cruise only had like 2 hot tubs. And so that's the only place they could go. But I'm like, isn't there a kids section where they can go?
You would think, because Carnival especially is pretty family friendly.
Right.
I would have expected at least one of the hot tubs to be like an 18 and older hot tub. I almost feel like that's on Carnival to be like, throw some regulations on your shit, man. And don't be afraid. Like, if you've got 2, let one of them be open to the public and let the other one be 18 and up. And obviously it's on the honor system. So, but then it gives you grounds to be like, there's 8 kids in the damn hot tub. Can we do something about that? Because that goes to, if it were my kid, I'm only letting my kid come in the hot tub if I'm in it.
Right.
Or if there's nobody else in it. Because we've gone to like hotels, like resort style hotels before where, if I'm going to get in the hot tub and my kid wants to be in the hot tub, cool, that's fine. I'm right there. And if she starts any business, I'm like, nope, get out. We're not doing that. That's the pool. So then if they're not supervised, that's like a whole other thing. And I'm like, well, you letting your kid run around totally unsupervised, or at least give them some guidelines if they're not going to be supervised. Like, don't go in the hot tub. Because to me, typically hot tubs are for the adults. Like,
right.
And also, kids shouldn't be, if it's an actual hot tub where it's like 101, 102 degrees, kids shouldn't be in there anyway. It's too hot.
Well, usually the cruise hot tubs, they don't keep them that hot like I like them. Unfortunately. Unfortunately, I like it to be 101, 102, but I can't stay in as long as I used to.
Yeah. But it's too hot.
Yeah. And I think I told a story before how I was on a cruise where I think this is the one in 2019 where I was like, we were at the back of the ship in the adults section of the cruise.
Okay.
And sitting in the hot tub, I'd been there, and homeboy was bringing me drinks, and I was just having a good old time sitting there, just out looking at the blue sky in the middle of the ocean.
I love it.
And then this older guy walks over to me and he goes, "Hey, sir, I don't mean to be that person. I'm a doctor, and I have been sitting here for 2 hours watching you get drink after drink brought to you. You have not gotten out of the hot tub, and your blood pressure is probably through the roof.
Oh my God.
I'm not obviously telling you what to do, but I'd rather not have to bring you out of the hot tub and give you mouth to mouth because you've stroked out." And I was like, I'm sorry.
You're like, what do you even do? You just feel like you got yelled at by your mom. You're like, you're like, you're absolutely right. Absolutely right.
Right,
I'm
you're
so
like,
sorry.
you're right,
I'm so
you're right,
sorry.
you're right,
I'm
you're
sorry.
right.
Actually, I was just about to get out.
Right. Well, because then SC was like, the server was coming over with another drink.
Jesus.
I was
Meanwhile,
like,
server's like, I don't give a fuck. I was keeping drinks until you passed out. Whatevs. You said bottomless. Like, holy moly.
So that's why I keep my watch on when I'm in a hot tub now, because it tells you if your heart is getting over your regular resting rate, even though you've been you haven't moved a lot.
Right.
And it'll be like, something may be off.
Yikes.
And now that I keep my watch on, now it's like, bitch, get the fuck out of this hot tub.
Makes sense.
Because I could stay there all day.
Well, yeah, but you shouldn't.
No, but I was like so embarrassed. I was like, well, let me take my drink, my fresh cocktail, and let me get my ass out and just go sit out.
I'm gonna find a chair in the shade. That's what I'm gonna do. Find a chair.
Yeah. So Holly, what are you
Yes.
doing for the vacation that's happening starting today?
I'm so excited.
Mm-hmm.
Funny. I'm so excited. So we decided, because Miguel, you and I like to plan vacations sort of at the same time, or I do anyway, because it just makes it easier.
100%.
I think, like, what's the point of one of us taking vacation and the other one isn't? Like, what? I'm gonna just run the show with Kelvin? Like, what is that? I'm not doing that. So like you say, hey, we're going on a cruise this week. I'm like, I'll do something.
Well, because usually mine is like booked like a year. Like I already know where we're going for spring break.
Okay, good. Because that was my problem with this year. Like y'all were delayed a little bit with this cruise. And I kept being like, I need to know because I was trying to plan summer camp months for Maya back in February. And I'm like, when are y'all going on this cruise? Because I need to know so I can do my thing.
I blame my friends because we had been off of the planning cycle since the pandemic.
Yes, I agree.
That like now that we're back, we're jumping back into the hula hoop of it. And so I'm hoping to plan something while we're on the ship to get discounts. So we'll already know next year when we're going by the time we get off the ship. So
right. And if you're a parent, you got to figure out them summer camps in February. So that's why it's helpful because you're a pre-planner. I love planning. Let's do it. So we weren't going to do anything like too crazy. We're kind of laying low, but we decided we're going to do a little staycation on St. Pete Beach. And because the thing is, I split my time between Charlotte and Tampa Bay. I live in Pinellas County though. And if you live in Pinellas County, unless you actually live on the beach, my guess is you're not going to the beach that often. Like you're just not. It's a lot. You got to drag everything out. It's a lot. So we're going to do it. And like, especially they have these great hotels that are like resort hotels that are for the tourists that are coming to St. Pete Beach from other states. And I'm like, why are we not taking advantage of this? And so my person and I did a lot of looking about and this was a couple of months ago, I think we booked this. And we got a really good deal at the hotel that we're going to stay at. And it has all kinds of fun things to do. And so it is just going to be like a 4-day staycation type thing that starts today. And we're going to be there with me and, Maya, and he'll be there with his little girl. And so we're going to do just We're going to act like tourists in our own town, basically.
Mm.
But then after that whole, like, that's the actual vacation part. And then I just have some time at home, which is, I love it because I have a lot of stuff that I've been meaning to get done. I feel like I was in a bit of a depression, like after going through all the stuff that I went through with my mother, for the past couple of years. And then when she passed away in February, it took me a while to kind of come back to the land of the living again. And I feel like I finally made it. And then I broke my wrist. So there's just been a lot of stuff going on this year. Like, my mom died. We had stuff going on with my person.
Girl, when have you haven't had a year that you were like...
No, actually, here's the thing. I would say 2020 and 2021, I was living my best life, which is unfortunate because it was the pandemic and I don't want to make light of it. But like, those were some really stellar, good years. 2022 was a little rough. 2023 so far has been a little rough. But I'm hoping like we're righting the ship. We're turning the ship around and I'm feeling better. And so I've got to take care of some stuff. I might start going through my mom's upstairs. My friend Erin actually introduced me to a business. This woman she knows helps clean out homes after people have died.
Oh, wow.
I might take advantage of that. I might.
100. Like, you should 100% do it.
I know.
100%.
I feel like if I do it alone, not only will it take weeks and possibly months, the emotional impact of going through all the things and having to look at each little thing, because I'm going to do that, right? Wouldn't you? Like, you're going to do it.
Yeah.
You're going to be like, what's this? Was this important? It would take forever. But this lady, it's her business. Like, she goes through, obviously, she puts stuff in like a giveaway pile, throwaway pile, like comes to you with things that might be, hey, this obviously is jewelry. What do you want to do with this? Like, to ask you the things. So it just might be a good service for me.
I've thought about that since my grandmother passed. Our situation was a little different because the house she was in was basically like condemned because the ceiling fell in where my mom and her were living. And so a lot of that stuff was just destroyed and we never got to get it. And I was very sad about the pictures because I'm a big picture person. She had pictures upon pictures on pictures of all of our family in the past. And that's gone forever. Which, by the way, one of my uncles sent me the listing for my grandmother's house. And it went up for auction because it was foreclosed on. And someone bought it from an auction and they gutted it and like redid it. And it's up for like $200,000 more than what my grandmother bought it for in like 2002.
Oh my God.
And like Abe and I were like kicking ourselves because at the time when that happened, we were in the midst of like planning the wedding and there was all that stuff. We were starting the process for building our house in Florida and we just weren't at a position to entertain that. But damn it, if I'm like, we should have done it.
I know.
My God. But anyway, but yeah, so so anyway, I was thinking if we would have had to go through my grandmother's stuff, like a lot of older people, she had so much stuff and like, what do you keep? So that's made me think like all these little things that I keep, like if I like, let's just say I passed away, like, in the next 3 weeks or something like that. And I'm like, there is a drawer in my filing cabinet in my office right now where I have like my old business cards from Hot 1015 when it was the Miguel, like, who's gonna keep that? Like, I think when I started to think about like if I went before Abe, would I want him to have to like dig through all of my stuff that like I don't know why I'm like there's no reason why I'm holding on to that. There's absolutely zero reason why I need to hold on to that.
But like as humans, that's what we do.
Right.
Well, some people don't. I'm sure some people are just done. But I think more people are just like these are my things. It means something to me. And that's why you have this issue.
I've always, thought that, one day there'd be the Museum of Miguel Fuller and they would display my college papers, my office plaques, the newspaper articles I've been in, my trophies from when I was the Georgia College Press Association president.
Well, are you? I mean, maybe you should go ahead and put that together if that's what you want to do.
Who gonna go to the museum?
Nobody. I mean, I probably wouldn't go. I'd be like, I saw it all already. Especially if they had me to pay money, I'd be like, I saw this. No, I would go, but I would expect to get in free.
Oh, absolutely, you would. You'd be on the You would have to give a speech at the grand opening. Like you'd probably give the keynote speech.
I mean, no, Abe would probably have to give the keynote
Girl,
speech.
he ain't giving no keynote speech.
Oh, well, no, you're right.
He ain't giving no keynote speech. No, he would give like the intro, and he would just be like, "Thank you all so much for coming." And imagine like Abe is like an old man, like an old white man, and he's just like, "I just want to say thank you so much for coming to see my dear husband, Miguel."
Oh,
and then
man.
You'd have to get up, and now you're an old white lady, and then you got to get up, and you're looking like Diane Keaton, and you're just like, I would.
Diane Keaton. Yeah, probably.
Oh, because Diane Keaton's really stylish. I don't care what anybody says. She still looks good, girl.
She's got a whole bunch of good stuff that goes on. I don't know what's going to happen when I get older. I'll probably still dress like I'm in college, but that's fine.
But then you'll have to give the keynote speech and talk about, this room represents my school age. This represents our Panama City years, our Tampa years, our Charlotte years, and then wherever else, life will take us. And so you'll get in for free. You'll get a lifetime membership.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. That's good. Okay. Well, we're set on that then.
Okay. The plans are
I don't know how we got here, but I will wrap it up by saying I'm just going to be relaxing the rest of the week. I have Maya in like a half-day summer camp because I was like, you're going to need something to do. That. And so it'll just be really nice, I think, overall. Maybe go out to some nice dinners, whatever. So that's my vacation. Miguel, what about you?
So later today, we're flying out to Fort Lauderdale. I'm actually right when we're done with this, I'm going to get a haircut. So I'm sort of chancing it, but my hair grows so fast now.
Yeah, that's a quick turnaround.
That by like the middle of the week on the ship next week, I'm going to look like a ragamuffin. So I'm like, I'm going to just get it the day before we go.
That's good.
So then we're getting on, everything's ready and packed. And then we're getting on the plane. And then tonight we're hanging out with Boss Man Will and his partner. Because they live in Fort Lauderdale, and so we're gonna get to see him and his partner.
Would you tell them I said hello? Because I was really bummed out that I didn't get to see them at Pride.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll make sure that I say hi. And then there's a couple of places I want to go to in Fort Lauderdale Saturday morning. And then we board the ship mid-afternoon, and then we sail away for 7 days.
Man, I can't wait to go on a cruise again. It'll be a couple of years, but I can't wait to do it.
I'm so excited. The only thing that I'm dreading is I'm already thinking about the end, because then we get back Sunday the 16th.
Oh my God, you don't get back till Sunday?
Yeah, and then our flight's not till like I was gonna chance it and get a flight at like 11:30, but I'm like, because I've done it before and we've made the flight with plenty of time, but I just don't want any crazy shenanigans to happen, because usually we get back on a Saturday and I have at least a buffer of a day, but this one just happens to come back on Sunday. And so I'm like, let's just make it later. So probably Monday the 17th, I'm going to be like, hey.
Yeah, your voice is going to be shot.
How y'all doing?
First day back, Miguel's and that's when you're going to look like a ragamuffin. And sound like one too.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping because, we usually don't stay out late on a cruise ship because, most of the things like the clubs there close like at 1, and we're not going to be out, going to after parties and stuff like we do in Charlotte. So I'm hoping that wise I'll be fine. But I just feel like my body's going to be like, can I get a salad?
Yeah, can I get some water?
Please. I need some leafy greens inside this body, because I've already said I plan on eating a pound of chicken tenders when we get on the ship on Saturday tomorrow.
Chicken tenders.
Yeah. Yeah. I love cruise ship chicken tenders.
You know what I love on a cruise ship? Endless lobster. Because they just keep bringing you more if you want it. They don't ask.
I know. Sometimes Abe's like, how can you be this person that loves such nice, fancy things?
Yeah.
And then you're always like, where are the chicken tenders? Where are the French fries? I'm like, listen, I like what I like.
I mean, I guess that's right. And
Mhm.
I would I like I like get on my kid for that, but for you, I'm like, you like what you like. Like my kid's probably gonna be like, what? You let Uncle Miguel eat those.
Mm-hmm. But I also eat vegetables with it. So, and I eat salad now. So, you know, it's not just the chicken tenders.
Yeah. Well, good for you.
All right. So we will be back on the 17th. Producer Kelvin will be back
Limping
then.
in.
He will be. So we'll have a good old time recounting everyone's vacations because he's been off this week.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for listening and being a part of the fam. We appreciate it. Go enjoy some of the other podcasts we have if you want something to listen to, if you're don't get an opportunity to go on vacation. Holly, which social media people can follow along with all of your shenanigans? Because Vodka Holly's gonna be out.
I will probably be out at some point, but I don't put a lot of those shenanigans on my social media. Y'all don't need to see that. Radio Holly on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and Threads.
Oh yes, Threads.
New.
Threads. You can follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Threads. Be Real, and on Peloton, Miguel Fuller. You can find me on all of those places. All right, we'll see you all when we get back. Bye.
Uncensored.
Miguel
and Holly Uncensored.
Catch it on the iHeartRadio app or anywhere you listen to podcasts.
It's really Thursday when we recorded this, but
Hard.
the thing messed up.
We went to record it on Thursday and play it Friday, but then we went live on YouTube and Facebook on Thursday and Friday, and it's just
messed up, but it's fine. But just know that there are some things we cut out of the audio podcast, but you can see it on the video. So